my beets.
Oh, a dead sheep. Ha! This is great. You just set up a tent next to the dead zombie. Don't set up camp next to your food because that would attract predators. So he's made a temporary base. Ooh, that was a good puffy jacket. You get that, buddy. I live in my puffy jacket. In my extensive experience with killing zombies in the wild, probably want to cut their head off. Hey, I'm Kinga Philipps. I have a background in anthropology and going out into the wilderness and hopefully not dying. And today I'm going to be watching some gameplay on the game DayZ, which is described as hardcore and uncompromising. So let's see what happens. All right, DayZ. Well, that looks like a water pump right off the bat, so that's a score.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Friends. We like friends. They might kill you in this game, you never know, but you know what, if they don't, then you have some companionship, which is a big deal.
My name is Leah.
It looks like he's well dressed. He's got some camo gear on, which is good if you're hunting. Beautiful Eastern European terrain. That is my motherland, actually. Dude's got a rifle. This is great. He's got clothing. I think he's even got gloves. Got some boots, jeans, shirt, field gear. All right.
Like making a smoothie, dude.
No, we're matching.
Well dressed, got a backpack, so he's probably got some gear on him. Okay, so he is basically going to loot the hell out of these buildings. Great shelter. I mean, when you find yourself, when you spawn into a new area, look at my gaming terminology, first thing you want to do is you want to look around. So this guy's doing exactly that. He is looking around. Here's a town. Plastic bottles, all right. Plastic's always a good thing. Can use that for starting fire, for drinking out of. He's killing. It's a zombie. It's a zombie. Got it. All right. So, in my extensive experience with killing zombies in the wild, probably want to cut their head off. So it looks like you've got either friends or foes here. Friends, obviously a great thing. You definitely want to keep up that enthusiasm for being alive, and nothing makes you happier than being able to share, I just killed a zombie story with your friends. Or, I guess you can also butcher them. Wow, there's a lot of stuff to salvage here. I mean, you've got a whole town. You've also got this amazing environment. It looks like it's potentially fall, which in Eastern Europe is good. It can get cold pretty quickly. He's got weapons, so you've got defense, you can hunt. Dude's got handguns, he's got shotguns. See a lot of pine, we like pine. You can boil those needles, get yourself some vitamin C. You can eat the inner bark. Wow, okay, there's a lot of killing. See some birch trees, those are a survivalist's win. You can use that birch bark to start fires. That's excellent tinder. You can also boil it. Edible, you can make little containers out of it to hold water in a pinch. So we're going from an urban environment. Look at those piles of grass. You know what those would be good for? If you're freezing cold and you don't have a lot of clothing, what you can actually do is you can take leaves, grass, straw in a bale like that, and you can make yourself into a straw man. So you can shove your pants full, tuck them into your socks, you can put it in your pants, you can put it in your shirt. If you have a hood, you put your hood up, you can fill it with grass, so you basically insulate yourself with natural material. Probably gonna be itchy, but better than dying. Oh, now he's got some shorts. Or is that a she? I think it's a she. Those are really short shorts for a dude, if that's a dude. I'm gonna say it's a gal. Lots of stuff that she's got there. Weapons, shoes, a women's suit jacket. It's a gal, yeah. She's got a knife. That would be my #1 choice in a survival situation, is a good knife. I see she's got a handgun there. Denim shorts. That's actually my favorite wardrobe too. Totally get it. Canned goods, all kinds of stuff. Hard hat, if that guy goes down, take the hard hat. That just seems like a useful thing. You could store water in that. You probably actually even boil water in that.
Little, but it's all right.
He's fighting
This looks like an old hospital, I'm guessing by the bloody cot. Someone didn't make it there, but this is probably a really useful place to find some medicine. And when I go out into the wild, I always like to have an antibiotic, because if anything happens, that's your first line of defense. That guy's got a shovel, that's always good too. Dig yourself a fire pit. Actually, you know what? This is a good time to point out that if you're being chased by zombies or anyone else who is bad, then you probably don't want to call a lot of attention to yourself. So at night, you still need a fire to stay warm. So one One good way to do that would be to dig a hole with that big shovel he has and put your fire in the ground, at which point you would dig a second hole next to it to be able to aerate the fire with a little tunnel that goes to the fire underneath, but at least that fire won't be as visible if someone is looking for you and you don't want to call a lot of attention to yourself. Love the guy's kicks and his red pants. I mean, he's like full-on hipster. This is great. Got barrels, so it looks like they are looking through this medical building, salvaging anything they can get.
Nice binoculars.
Oh, a tent. Well, this is excellent. And looks like we've got a vegetable garden here. Now, if you're lucky enough to stumble along that, then lucky you, tomatoes, great. You can make yourself a nice burrata. This is excellent. Tomatoes are good for you. That's some good soil. Might want to tend that garden and come back to it. Now, oh, a chicken. Just took out that chicken. That's great. There you go. You've got some dinner right there. Or you can keep the chicken, have some eggs. Got matches. Great. Start a fire. Keep yourself warm. Keep predators away. Oh, you can light your friends on fire. Hey, buddy, get out of the fire. Step out of the fire. Step out of the fire. Are we cooking you? Have we already gone to cannibalism? I don't think we need to yet. There was a chicken. Maybe wait to eat your friends until after all the chickens are gone. I really recommend even eating the grass first, to be honest. Although I'm not against cannibalism in a pinch. If we're assessing our situation from this point here, this guy or gal, hard to tell, got a helmet on, is pretty well dressed. So probably warm. There are options for shelter. There are all kinds of buildings there that you could use as a home base, as a shelter from elements and zombies and, you know, friends, foes. We've got lots of gear. We've got guns, we've got knives, so you can hunt, you can defend yourself. We had a water pump at the start of this, so we've got water. He has matches in his arsenal, so that's good. You can start a fire. Got bulletproof vests. Good thing. Got office chairs. Don't sit too long, I'll hurt your back. Got some friends. This is good. I mean, really from a survival standpoint, other than the whole zombies trying to kill you, we're doing pretty well here. The climate seems fairly mild if it's fall in Eastern Europe. Oh, a Coke can. This is good. Cans are good defense. You can throw them at people and zombies. And then you can open them. You know, you don't actually need a can opener to open a can, by the way. You can rub it on concrete until you rub down the top of it, and then you can pop it open with a knife, or you can actually even use a spoon. So don't need a can opener. But first throw it and kill a zombie. I got a shovel. Shovel's good for self-defense. Maybe you can dig down to water when you're looking for water. You look for greenery, gravity, ground. If you're digging in the ground, a shovel is really useful, but then you definitely want to purify it because groundwater can have lots of parasites and bacteria. You want to boil that for about 10 minutes. All right, there you go, tons of wood. Again, if you didn't have tons of houses nearby, I'd say keep that wood, build yourself a fire, maybe a shelter. You could use that for a lean-to. More, okay, there's a fence. If you stay behind the fence, that's a good defensive position. Okay, this guy's smart. All right, so he's gonna set up a tent and he's surrounded by a fence, so that's good. So he's gonna know if the zombies are trying to come in. It looks like he has a whole arsenal of defense here, rifles, bullets, axes, good stuff. So he's made a temporary base. Ooh, that was a good puffy jacket. You get that, buddy. I live in my puffy jacket. Hatchet, kind of a bloody hatchet. Looks like it's been used. Grab the jacket. It's even a great color. Really bring out your eyes and keep you warm. Okay, so now we have bogeys. We're gonna have to shoot them. I'm enjoying the greenery here. Looks like deciduous forest. Probably have some sap, probably have some resin. Since you've got pine trees in there as well, those are super useful. Antimicrobial. Can use that resin to close wounds. You can keep it to light fires. Probably throw it at zombies. I don't know how they feel about resin. I've never asked. So I'm not sure if you are defending or if you are just trying to get away here, but either way, you're killing a lot of people. Check their pockets. If you're gonna kill them, might as well see if they have anything useful on them. You've got a truck there. Wonder if that thing runs. Can get you out of there. Again, okay, good. Patrol jacket, it's good. Looks like he has a canister of gasoline. Good for lighting fire, lighting zombies on fire. See a lot of broken glass in those windows there. You could use that for fire starting. I like the old Boy Scout ant trick. That's cruel, don't do that. But you could use it to start a fire. You could also use it to defend yourself and to cut things need be. That's if you didn't have a whole arsenal with knives and hatchets and guns. But this guy does. Beautiful town. I mean, you could really set up camp there. Looks like a water tower there. You have fresh water. Not always the case in a survival situation. In a survival situation, you want to go as close to the source as possible to find your water. Flowing water is great, but it's not foolproof. You don't know, there could be a bear taking a poop in it upstream, so you still want to filter it even in running water. Stagnant water is definitely a no-no unless it's a dire emergency, but will probably give you diarrhea and vomiting, dehydrate you, and it's just not fun.
This actual gear in here.
It's got some bedding materials, that's good. If you're building a primitive shelter, probably the first thing you want to put in there is a bed, because all of that cold earth underneath you is just going to sap your warmth and your energy, so you definitely want to pad it out with leaves or anything you can find, but in this case, you've got a mattress, so maybe it's like a king size, a California king, I don't know. I love that he's setting up tents inside of the buildings, which would make sense if the roofs are leaky, but otherwise I would maybe just not bother with that and enjoy the building. You just set up a tent next to the dead zombie. Don't set up camp next to your food because that would attract predators. So if you've got a dead body, I would maybe move away from that. Ooh, water, this is good. Looks like a river, it's better than stagnant water, but I would still filter that. Got a plastic bottle there so you can fill it up, but since you've got matches and stuff, you're gonna wanna boil that water for about 10 minutes anyway. Kill all the bacteria and parasites. Fighting zombies with diarrhea is just unpleasant. All right, metal sheeting, that's good. If you put that metal sheeting out in the sun, you're gonna heat it up. You could probably even cook on that. In a pinch, you could cook on rocks if it's really hot outside. A good way to keep yourself warm is to take rocks, put them on the outside of the fire so they're not super hot. And those little things that you can put, like your hand warmers that you can put in pockets or in your socks, you can do that with hot rocks by a fire if you're in a really cold environment. Oh, this is greenery, this is good. Grasses are edible. They're not particularly digestible for humans and they're not gonna offer a lot of nutrition, but if you boil them, you can eat them in a pinch. Good, he's got gloves, gonna keep his digits nice and warm. If it is really cold outside, frostbite can set in really fast. So you've got all this green grass. That would also be beneficial if you wanted to build a signal fire and let your other non-zombie friends know where you are. Send some smoke signals up. And it looks like he's building himself a wall so the zombies can't come in. This is great. Shelter where you feel safe. That's just an emotionally good thing. I always feel emotionally better when I know that zombies can't get me. Just felled a tree. This is great. You can use that for firewood, build yourself shelter. Got all this pine, which you could use as insulation. Oh, I see lots of lichens and moss on the trees. Common myth that it only grows on the north side and you can orient yourself by that. Not really true. It usually grows on all sides of trees. Oh, a dead sheep. Ha! This is great. You've got wool, you've got meat. You want to cool that meat as quickly as possible if the animal has just died by putting it in a stream, because bacteria is going to kick in really quickly. You want to gut it, get all the innards out, and then you could cure it, you could smoke it. You've got some wood there, you could smoke it. You want to smoke it for about 2 days, and that's going to jerky that meat, jerkied sheep. Good survival food. Again, you could eat that grass. Oh, good. Grilled sheep out on a fire. This is terrific. Got a fire going, you're grilling some sheep, you're enjoying the terrain. Remember to enjoy your surroundings. Really just, meditate if you need to. Keep your emotions up. Pick some of those flowers for yourself. Invite your friends over for some roast sheep. Cooking on a stick, definitely want to pick some green branches so it doesn't just immediately burn through and you drop your food in the fire. You could even build a little spit there. You could turn that sheep. Now it's raining, it looks like. That's gonna get you wet, which isn't a great thing. That could kick in some hypothermia. We've got power lines. I mean, you're already in civilization, but otherwise, if you were in the middle of the wilderness, if you did happen to come across power lines or roads or railroad tracks or rivers, that is a good thing to follow, and you will most likely stumble on a civilization at some point. Dining room table, this is good. Have some friends over, just make sure they're not zombies. Again, all this ready-made shelter is a great thing. Looks like it's storming outside now. You want to keep yourself dry. You're actually better off getting naked than being in wet clothing if it's really cold outside. So strip it down, get by the fire, dry your stuff. This game has been described as brutal, hardcore, and uncompromising. But you have a full city with mattresses and water pumps and weapons, so I don't know that from a survival standpoint I would agree with that. Although zombies kind of make it a little hardcore. Oh, is it snowing now? All right. Well, this is intense. Once you get into the snow, it's going to be a real survival situation, especially in Eastern Europe. This is why my people are so hardy, because it's really, really cold there. If you don't have a ready-made shelter like this guy does, and there's snow outside, shelter is gonna be your first concern. So you could build yourself a snow cave. You could look for a tree well, which is basically the area around the tree trunk where the boughs of the tree are gonna keep the snow away, so you can crawl down into that, put some branches over the top. You could build yourself a Kinsey, you could build yourself a snow tunnel. You really have a lot of options there. Just make sure it doesn't collapse on you. If you put a fire in it, you've gotta have a little exhaust. Then you're gonna wanna warm your body as quickly as possible, so light a fire, because remember the rule of threes, 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, and about 3 hours without regulating your body temperature. So you're gonna wanna get yourself warm as quickly as possible. So if you were to enter into this environment in a survival scenario, whether it's a crash or whether you just get lost and it starts snowing on you, the first thing you're going to do is you're gonna wanna build yourself some kind of a shelter and then worry about getting warm. Snow is water. What you don't wanna do is you don't wanna just eat snow, because the amount of energy it requires for your body to warm that up and turn it liquid is gonna be defeatist. So you wanna take snow and you wanna melt it down perfectly. If you have a fire, let it melt maybe next to your body without cooling yourself off too much, and then you can drink it.
Hey, how you doing?
Right, guys and gals, thank you for joining. That was DayZ, which was hardcore and uncompromising, although there was plenty of food, water, shelter, beds, and weapons. But it was super fun. So for more videos, check out Gamology on YouTube and Facebook. You learn a lot about people. People tend to be a lot more open, and you get to know their inner selves and their backstory, and maybe something that they wouldn't tell you, in a restaurant in Los Angeles, they're gonna tell you sitting around a fire in the wilds of Alaska.